Do you want to click on the PowerPoint?
Sure.
So, hi everyone that is on today. First off, if you're able to put your video on, it's always nice to see faces, but no big deal if you don't have it on. And if you can also make sure to mute your line, that would be great. There's a little button in the bottom left-hand corner where you should be able to mute it.
I don't know.
Can you guys all see our screen right now? I just told you to mute your line, sorry. Yeah, this is, where'd it go? Very nice. Oh, everybody's still here. 1 second. You can't see the screen. Okay, flip it. Sorry, guys. Okay, now everybody should be able to see it. Sweet. Okay, so welcome to tonight's call. I'm super excited because this is the first time, well, not the first time, this is actually the second time Tyler has taught a business class with me, but we've just gotten to process a lot together as we've gotten ready for the call. And we're excited to share a lot of different aspects of the doTERRA business. Obviously, we love doTERRA's oils. But we also love the opportunity to be able to use doTERRA as a means to share an awesome gift like the oils, but also as a business to make money and just really as a platform to be able to empower people in their health. So you guys can obviously see the picture of our family there. My name's Kristen and my husband's name is Tyler, and that's our little baby Elliot. And really, first off, we wanted to start by just sharing a little bit about ourselves. We are originally from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We moved to Texas this year for a discipleship training school through our church. Really, I don't know, like I tried to just think of things that our family loves. And basically, we love Jesus and traveling, and we love people, community, dancing silly with our baby Elliot and just having fun, and coffee, for sure coffee. These are things we mutually love. But I'm going to have Tyler go ahead and introduce himself, and then I'll introduce a little bit about myself and my story as well.
Hey everybody, I'm Tyler Tigas, and I am currently, for work, I work for Samuelson Development out of Sioux Falls as the accounting manager for them. And I also have the privilege of helping Kristen with this business kind of behind the scenes, except for in situations like now, where I get to see all of you. Yeah, just be a dad to Elliot and a husband, and going through the discipleship school that we are down here in Waco has been really awesome and also really stretching. And also really fun to get to meet lots of new people and explore a new state and a new town.
You'll see as we go through the call today that Tyler and I both, when we first found out about doTERRA, we approached it from different viewpoints. And Tyler, he's for sure the like strategic business mind in this relationship. You'll hear it all throughout the call. And really, when we first even started doTERRA, he's told me that he had thoughts like, oh, Kristen should do this as a business. And I, on the other hand, when Callie, who I enrolled with, asked me if I wanted to do the doTERRA business, I was like, heck no, I'm not doing that as a business. I don't do anything with MLMs. I don't even go to all these parties that people are inviting me to all the time. Like, no, no, no. And so really, I just wanted to share that as we go, and you'll hear pieces of it as we teach. But for me, I guess in college, I was an exercise science major. I've always had just this fascination with how God made the body to heal and to function. And I always wanted to be able to teach people about how to take care of it. I didn't always know what that really looked like or what that meant. I was taught from a very traditional, conventional standpoint in college. And after college, everything was kind of flipped. I had been struggling with sleep issues and some hormone issues, and was introduced to chiropractic care, and it completely changed both of Tyler and I's lives in different ways, from like a symptomatic standpoint, but also our mindset and how we understood health was also completely flipped. Our journeys looked a little bit different. I'm like an all-in person, and he's like a let's learn for multiple months and then maybe tiptoe forward. But really, we now like approach our health in like pretty much the same exact way. Like we're on the same page, which I'm so thankful for. And so doTERRA came along about 3 years into our natural health journey. And I was working at this chiropractic office. I worked as a chiropractic assistant for 5.5 years, I think, or 5 years. Just really fell in love with empowering people in that sort of a situation, but also saw limiting factors in it that were frustrating for me. And so, our family has seen like amazing results through the oils. One of the best gifts that I really think that we've had is Elliot has like literally never had a medication in his body. And I really think that's primarily because we had been empowered to use oils even before he was born, and because of the natural health lifestyle we live. And what we've seen is essential oils are really just like this beautiful gateway to natural health, or this beautiful like accompanying tool that people can use on their natural health journey. So we started the Living Drop Collective. Really, that is our doTERRA team, our name. And the things that our team is really about are, number one, speaking words of life. That was something that Callie really taught me a lot about, and really flipped my perspective very quickly one visit when she was in South Dakota. And basically, I have just found so much truth to that in every circumstance, whether it's I'm having a membership overview with somebody, I'm posting on a Facebook post, or I am speaking with one of my builders. Like I always want to be speaking words of life, and not words of pressure or words of criticism or words of judgment for where somebody's at in their journey. We seek to really empower people through education, and you'll see that in everything we do in the Living Drop Collective. Is like we're not just here to live, we're here to I don't know who that was, but if you can let it be awesome. Basically, like I was saying, we seek to educate people always. So we're not just trying to sell somebody a kit, make some money, and then be done. We want to empower that person through education and how to use those oils, and how to continue a step forward in their natural health journey. We're also cautious but not fearful. So again, this starts from the standpoint of education. We when you go out there, you'll hear lots of different fear tactics from both ends, whether it's like a natural person teaching about why not to use certain things on their child or for themselves, or it's somebody on the opposite end where they're trying to put fear in you about using an oil in a certain instance. And so we just really want to empower people through education to then make the best decision for them. Next, generosity in everything that we do. And then also lifestyle transformation through community. I think community is such a valuable tool that really helps people to make change that lasts long term. And without community, it becomes really, really hard to maintain that. So in every way possible, I try to incorporate these in our team. And I know a lot of our leaders do too. So we really want to just leave people better than how we found them, teach them the importance of a holistic lifestyle, speak life over them. And we're blessed to be a blessing.
So this is a introduction to the doTERRA business opportunity. And we wanted to, after introductions, obviously, we wanted to talk a little bit about just in general, the benefits of business ownership. And these are a few that I could think of. And I'm sure we can each, I know we have some business owners on here, but we could each probably contribute to this list. The reasons people want to go into business ownership is to create, and some of the reasons are to create and contribute to their community, to offer a new product or service that isn't available, that they're passionate about, in order to choose who you are going to work with on a day-to-day basis, choose your own work style, hours, schedule, to determine the environment that you're working in, the mission and the vision and the values. And it's also one of the best paths to financial freedom for a couple of reasons. There's tax benefits, but it's also businesses are typically scalable, meaning you're not just trading your time for dollars. You can scale that. So it's not just you work more to earn more. You can work twice as much and earn more than twice as much money. So that's what I mean by scalable.
So to make this really practical, if you all just want to like think of a few things, like maybe when you first got out of college, or maybe even before you went into college, or maybe even now, there's certain things that you're like, I really just like, so for me, I remember when I had Elliot, I remember thinking like, I just want to be able to control my own schedule so I can prioritize Elliot first. That's what I want to be able to do. So some of the things that people usually name that they don't want are things like they don't want a boss. They don't want an alarm clock. They don't want employees or politics. They don't want compromises or discrimination. They don't want educational requirements. But what they do want is they want something that's positive. They want a great product or service. They want unlimited income. That was something I remember getting frustrated too. Like at my previous job, I loved what I did. I loved what I did as a chiropractic assistant, but I remember getting so frustrated because I felt like I was stuck and I really couldn't grow anymore. Like I went from a full-time employee to a part-time employee at a small company. So really there was going to be very little ways for me to include or increase the amount of money that I was earning. And that was hard for me because we had dreams. We do have dreams for our life. And so to think like I wanted a dream or a job with meaning, but I also wanted to be able to work harder so I could earn more. And I felt like if I worked harder, like it made an impact, but it didn't always show it on my paycheck. So anyways, people want something that's positive. They want a great product or service. They want unlimited income. They want residual income. They want to enjoy the people they work with. They want to have time, freedom, something meaningful, personal growth, lots of perks, international travel, contribution to a worthy cause, low risks, low startup costs, economy proof, and tax benefits. So really maybe all those things don't apply to you, but I'm sure there's some of the things that we hit in there that you're like, yeah, I for sure don't want that in a job, and I do want this in a job.
I looked this up. Gallup, the research company, did a study a few years back, and they found that 60% at any given time, 60% of Americans either are in the process of or dreaming about or want to start or own their own business. So at any given time, 60% of Americans want to own their own business. So that's probably a lot of us on here. Or was in the past. And then at some point, backing up, 90% of Americans have wanted to start their own business at some point in their lives. So almost all Americans at some point in their lives want to start a business. So then the question is, before the question, 90% want to, but only 10% of the working population in America currently own a business or are self-employed. So are self-employed or own a business. 90% want to, but only 10% actually do. So just a question to think about, why might that be? Why is there that discrepancy? 90% want to, but only 10% actually do. Probably got some ideas. Here are some of them. On the right side are some of the reasons why people find it difficult to own their own business or to start their own business. And then the left side is kind of the network marketing as an industry. So we're not even talking about doTERRA specifically, but we're just comparing network marketing as a business model compared to traditional business. So in network marketing, you typically find lower startup costs compared to a traditional business, like a brick and mortar business. Even a lot of typical online businesses have high startup costs, and that's a big hurdle right out of the gate, is that people don't have that capital to infuse into their business. Network marketing is typically a pretty simple process to start. There's not a lot of tax forms, there's not a lot of laws, you don't have to incorporate necessarily. Whereas with a traditional business, it's a little bit more complicated. There's more taxes, there's more fees, there's more legal requirements. And then moving on down the list, I don't know if we need to go through each of these, but flexible level of time commitment with network marketing versus, if you're starting your own bakery or you're starting your own clothing store, or you're starting, whatever, there's a lot of effort required right up front before you even can open your doors. In network marketing, because the startup costs are lower, there is usually you don't need to take out any debt. Network marketing, typically there's not any inventory or overhead to manage, and success largely depends on you. It depends on your work, and it depends on the time you put in. Whereas with a traditional business, a lot of the success depends on economic factors, like where you're at, the employment rate of the city you're in, things can change quickly. And in network marketing, you get to set your own schedule and work with the people you love. Where in the traditional business, a lot of times you do get to do that as well. But you also have to keep in mind and have your doors open and work around the schedules that your employees can work to. So those are some of the barriers of why people don't start traditional businesses, and why network marketing is kind of a growing industry or growing business model, just because it's a lot more feasible for people to start.
So for us at the beginning, for me, network marketing really had a bad name put all over it by basically just the way I grew up. I really didn't understand anything about network marketing more than very little experience with it, and then what my parents would say about it. And we'll talk about some of the limiting beliefs that go along with network marketing, or maybe there's things that hold people back, and really how we landed where we did. But the funny thing is, I came to this and I was like, heck no, I'm not doing network marketing. And Tyler came to this and he had more of a background of an understanding of what network marketing really was. His parents had learned or had dabbled with Amway. And he had read a lot of books by people that were a part of Amway, and that had really helped him understand more about the network marketing model. So I think it's just really interesting to get to the root of it and look at what is actual network marketing, and look at the pros and cons and all these things that we're talking about right here. And it makes so much sense. So that's why we're starting here.
So Kristen found this little diagram over here, and we'll talk about it a little bit, but as an entrepreneur in the network marketing industry, you can receive all the benefits of traditional business ownership without the typical risks. That's kind of just summing up the previous slide. And then this quote by Eric Worre: network marketing isn't perfect, it's just better. And we will unpack that thought a little bit more throughout the rest of our time together. But I wanted to talk a little bit about this diagram, because a lot of people hear network marketing, what's the first thing that pops into your head? If you are a lot of people, the term that pops into your head is, isn't that a pyramid scheme? Isn't network marketing like the sugar version of a pyramid scheme? And
I really thought they were both equivalent. But turns out they're not.
They're not. There are network marketing companies that are pyramid schemes, but just because a business uses a network marketing model does not mean it's a pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes are actually highly illegal, and it is basically when a company doesn't really sell a product, they just charge a fee. So it's basically like you pay a fee to join this club, I don't know a better word for it, and then you earn commission to enroll other people into this club, but there isn't really a product or a service, which sounds crazy, but apparently these things do exist. And just to, when this part of it was explained to me over here, it made so much sense to me. That there are just so many similarities between multi-level marketing models and traditional business models. So multi-level.
Because a lot of times, so just to preface this, like a lot of times I'll hear people say things like, oh, you're just like making money off your friends, or you're like benefiting off all these things. And it's like, well, when you really break it down, like when I worked at a chiropractic office, I referred my friends to the chiropractic office, and I was getting paid because my friends were coming to the chiropractic office. So it's like the same idea, and we'll unpack that more, but that I just wanted to preface that is like what I feel like I hear a lot of people say, and I at one time like was held back by that belief.
So if you think, obviously we can't cover everyone that's on the call, but if you think about the company you currently work for, or a company your spouse works for, especially the bigger the company, this applies. So most companies have what they call an org chart, or an organizational chart. And the president or the CEO or the chairman of the board or whatever is at the top, or the owner. And then under them you have your CFO, your COO, your CTO, all of your chief officers. And then under them you have all of those chief officers, directors and managers. And then below the managers and directors you have a lot of your what we call entry-level positions. And if you look at an org chart for a bank, or for Walmart, or for any company, there's going to be more people at the bottom and less people the farther you go up to the top. And most people are trying to move from the bottom to the top. But that's not a bad thing. That's the key, is it's not a bad thing, because as you move, you are developing yourself, you're developing your skills, you're growing as a leader, you're growing in your leadership capabilities, in your job responsibilities, in your job skills, and that makes you more qualified to lead other people and to train other people and to teach other people the things that you've learned.
With traditional companies, that's good. With traditional companies, I think like the point like that I love from this chart is that they spend like so much money on advertising, whatever means of that they use, who knows, but they're spending all this money on advertising versus like in network marketing, they are, instead of paying money to advertise, they're spending money to like pay their wellness advocates to educate people. And so I love like that difference, and it's kind of hard to read the bottom parts of this, but it shows on the right side the ads that are spent, or the money that's spent towards ads from like celebrities and things like that. And the left side is basically just educators for like a network marketing company.
And then I wanted to talk a little bit about this statement right here. doTERRA is an essential oil and natural health care company that uses a direct sales model. doTERRA is not a direct sales company that sells essential oils. So at Leadership, we heard this explained a little bit. We went to a leadership retreat a couple months ago in Florida and got to hear from some of the founders and some of the leaders in doTERRA. When doTERRA was started 8 or 9 years ago, they had a choice basically between 3 options of a business model: how they were going to distribute, how they were going to educate, how they were going to sell their product. The first one was to sell essential oils through health food stores, which some essential oil companies do. But the problem with that is the owners of the company, the owners of doTERRA, placed a very high value on education, just like we do. And when you sell out of a store, a lot of times people are buying something and they don't fully know how to use it. So they kind of scratch that off the list. I'm giving you kind of the summarized version. The second option was to just sell online directly to consumers and skip stores altogether. The problem with that, in addition to people not necessarily getting the education they want, is that it didn't fulfill doTERRA's vision of having a healer, an empowered healer in every home. So because there wasn't that interaction, that one-on-one interaction to empower people. They could provide online training and different documents and different videos and things, but the support structure wouldn't be there. So the third option was the direct sales approach, the network marketing approach. And that really ties in well with doTERRA's, their vision of having people empowered healer in every home, because it builds community, it builds layers of support for people using their oils, and they get to basically share the wealth of doTERRA by paying commissions to people who are spending their time educating people on how to use oils safely and effectively, instead of paying millions and millions of dollars for TV ads and for endorsements and things like that.
Good stuff. So then we just wanted to take some time to dive deeper into even more limiting beliefs, and really why we're spending so much time on this, if I'm just completely transparent, is because even like when we started out, our like growth was so slow, and it was all that way because I had a lot of these limiting beliefs. I believed these things at certain times, and I feel like I've like come to a different point, or a different viewpoint, just because of education and learning along the way. I'm like so thankful now for the network marketing model, because for me it's so fun because I love people and I love educating people, and this just really enables me to work my butt off to educate people, and therefore our family is able to see financial benefit from it, and we'll talk more about that in the coming slides. But the first limiting belief that we wanted to start with is I don't want to sell something. And I've heard lots of people say this, and I think for a while I even said this, but to be honest, when I worked at a chiropractic office, like this was like my role. I spent every single day teaching people about recipes, and I would tell them where to go buy all the ingredients for their recipes. And then I would teach them about our supplements, and I would sell the supplements to them. And I had processed through some of that there because my boss ended up giving me commission after a certain time based off of the supplements that I sold. And I really just, for me, it was like I had to come back to my heart, and it's like, is my heart really for them, or is my heart to make commission on this right now? And so that's the biggest thing that I think is always important in this model, is to continuously be checking your heart. Because if your heart's in the right place to help someone, like I don't want to sell something, doesn't even matter, because with doTERRA, they can literally get the same discount that you're getting. doTERRA is just paying you to educate them. And that's what I tell people all the time. Like, I don't view this as me like earning commission off my friends. It's like I'm getting paid from doTERRA to educate them. And I love that they do that, because it helps, like I get to help my friends. Like nothing's more fun than empowering my friends with oils. And honestly, now it's like so much more than just my friends. But yeah, did you want to say anything else about that one?
The first one, I don't want to sell something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of times what people think is I don't want to guilt or pressure my friends and family into buying from me. And we don't want to do that either. And that's not at all what we're advocating. But at the same time, this thought just came to me as I was making this presentation. We may or may not buy a house at some point. It changes. But the thought comes to me, I'm like, okay, if we wanted to buy a house, who would I work with? And I have some friends that are real estate agents, and I think they are knowledgeable. I think they provide a great service. I want to work with somebody that I know and that I trust. And when that's the case, they provide a good product. I trust them. I know them. Why wouldn't I want to go to them and say, hey, I want a house. You are in the business of selling houses and you're good at it. Let's work together. And I am happy to pay you for the value of your service. And the same thing, the same mindset can be applied here. It can be applied in so many spheres, but specifically talking about essential oils, it's like we're not guilting people into buying. We're not pressuring people into buying. We don't want to do that at all. We usually err on the side of not wanting to do that. And we do that just through open communication and asking questions and clarity. But at the same time, we believe in the usefulness and the effectiveness and the safety of essential oils compared to a lot of the alternatives. And so we want that for our friends and family. And if they're wanting that too, obviously we're glad to offer that.
It's funny because like literally over Thanksgiving this year, we were with my uncle, and of course health always comes up. It does every single time. And my uncle ended up buying oils, and I could have felt bad about that, but I didn't, because like my uncle, like he's struggling with some things, and I was so thankful to be able to provide a product that could help him and be able to walk him through that and guide him through that and teach him about it. So again, it's like what Tyler said, like you help the people that are ready for it. And sometimes your friends or family aren't ready, but you're living your life in front of them. And of course they're going to ask questions. And so most of our friends and family is on our doTERRA team. They're not all, and that's fine, but it just like happens. And I like literally from the beginning, I drew a line in the sand. I said I was never going to pressure my friends or family to do something with me. And or to use oils or buy something from me. And I think really for me, the biggest expression of this that I will explain to you, that I encourage you to live out, is I just told myself I was never going to be like that person. And you know what I mean when I'm saying like that person that you get emails from out of the blue about coming to some sort of party, or you get something in the mail, or usually it's something on Facebook. I get something like this probably like once every 2 months or something like that. There is never a personal message with it like, hey, I really think you would love this and this is why. It's always just like this generic group mass email, Facebook message, whatever. And I just don't do that. I don't do that with people. I'm going to personalize it and make it real for them. So, and yeah, sorry, we'll keep moving. I don't have what it takes. I don't struggle with that one. You go.
This is something that, we'll talk more about this. It actually, I think people have a picture in their mind of what it takes that is unrealistic and isn't actually true. And so that's part of it. And then the other part of it is usually people are more awesome than what they think they are. And we'll talk more about that too.
Yeah. And we're all going to do our doTERRA businesses differently because we're all gifted different ways. And that's awesome. Because lots of people in the world need different approaches. So I don't know enough of the right people, or sometimes I'll hear like everybody in my life already uses oils or something like that. And yeah, that's just not true. Like we'll talk about
a lot of times people that say this think that that they are going to enroll all the people they know really quickly and make money really fast and then be done, which isn't the right approach to network marketing. Like we said, that's the point where relationships get hurt and bridges are burnt, and that rhymed and I didn't plan on it. So yeah, it's not about how many people you know or knowing the right people. I don't have time to invest in business right now, which is sometimes a perfectly valid reason to wait. But a lot of times people will say this regardless of what's going on in their life. So I guess an encouragement is, if you have a dream to start a business or you have a dream to do something with your life, I mean, this isn't just about starting a business. Like the best part about this business is the impact you get to make. So a lot of times when people say this, it's like, there's actually, I don't know if you guys know Zig Ziglar. There's a really good Zig Ziglar video. It's called, I think it's called Getting Cooked in the Squat. YouTube that sometime. It's really funny. And it addresses this concern.
That's good. We can stop there. The next two are kind of just repeats of some things that we've talked about already. So we'll go ahead and skip those for sake of time. Next, we wanted to cover specifically in the network marketing world, why doTERRA. And again, this is not something that I was an expert in before starting. I actually spent absolutely no time thinking about this. I for sure thought about like why doTERRA versus other essential oil companies, but not necessarily, like I wasn't approaching doTERRA looking for a great business model. So just briefly covering, like a lot of you guys have been to classes covering why essential oils from doTERRA are specifically the best to go with. And some of those things are things like the amount of testing that doTERRA does. They literally do more testing than any other essential oil company in the market. Their oils are pure. Not all oil companies have pure essential oils. They're also very potent because they're sourced from indigenous sources. You can see consistent results with them because of these reasons. And then doTERRA specifically, one thing about their company that's awesome is when you get into the network marketing world, you'll find out that retention rates aren't very long. You can all like think of different network marketing businesses that you've heard of in the past. But with doTERRA, one of the stats that I love is 65 to 73% of doTERRA, people that enroll with doTERRA, so whether they're doing the business or they're just using oils, they retain, meaning they re-enroll the following year because they love the products and they're using the products.
And they're ordering on a consistent
basis, which I think is so powerful. It speaks for itself. So, also one thing just specifically about, the natural health and wellness industry right now, I think it's pretty obvious, like it's just growing. People are learning so much. They're wanting to become more natural. They're wanting to learn more about true wellness. One thing that I had looked up stated that in 2016, analysts reported that the global wellness economy reached $3.7 trillion, and growth is expected to accelerate by 17% in the next 5 years. In 2017, we predict that there will be a tremendous opportunity for marketers to meet the needs of health-focused consumers. In our 2017 Health and Wellness Industry Trend Report, we identified strategic areas of growth within the category. So basically, all that to say, like the health and wellness industry is growing a lot. People are just learning and wanting to be more naturally minded. doTERRA's integrity and their founders. One thing, they're awesome. Like, so when you come to leadership and things like that, you'll begin to see a lot of their integrity and the interesting little facets of all their personalities and stuff like that. But the thing that I love is actually, like, there's no one founder of doTERRA, whereas when you look into other companies, a lot of times there is just one founder, which puts a lot of power in one person's hands and leads for a lot of questions of integrity. And doTERRA decided from the beginning that there was going to be 7 founders, right? 7? 8 founders. So there's a high level of integrity, and that they all like basically made a pact together of that they were going to stay to their integrity with every decision they made within the company, which I think is awesome. Tyler will talk a little bit about the compensation plan.
Yeah, so the compensation plan, like Kristen said, wasn't what we originally picked doTERRA for. And it's what, I mean, most people start using doTERRA essential oils just for the oils and for the products because they are such high quality. But the compensation plan really is, it really is incredible, especially if you are kind of a nerd like me and look at other companies' compensation plans. You'll begin to see what makes doTERRA's different. And we'll get into this a little bit more, but one thing that I wanted to just talk about is with a lot of other network marketing companies, you don't really make money, like a substantial amount of money, not even a substantial amount of money, but like you don't really make anything until you've been doing it a long time and you're like really far advanced in their ranks, and you're getting all of these what am I trying to say, like all the bonuses and all of their incentives and everything. It takes a long time, and very few people actually make like an income that could support a family. Whereas doTERRA, they specifically structured their compensation plan so that at every rank and at every point along a wellness advocate's journey, the growth curve for income is more of a straight line. I mean, it does go up a little bit, like a hockey stick, for those higher ranks. But I mean, you can start making a profit fairly early on. I mean, really early on, and you can start making an impact into your family's monthly budget pretty quickly, especially compared to other network marketing companies. We already talked about the low barrier to entry versus traditional businesses, but also doTERRA specifically within the network marketing industry is even a lower barrier to entry. A lot of companies, you have to buy like this huge like startup kit and spend so much every few months and spend so much right off the bat. Whereas doTERRA's cost is pretty minimal when you think about all the benefits of business ownership you're getting. But we'll talk more about that later.
And one more thing that we didn't actually put on here is I remember like Tyler specifically told me one time that the way even doTERRA's products are much smarter than other companies, because a lot of companies that you think about, they may have other things that are not consumable, meaning like you can think of a lot of companies that you've probably been invited to parties for or whatever, that it's like, it's something that you're going to use for a very long time. You're not going to be buying something on a regular basis, where like essential oils, like they're consumables, you're using them. And if you're educated well and your family's seeing the benefits of them, you're going to be buying more, whether it's the supplements or the oils or the hygiene products or whatever it is. It's a consumable product that people will continue to need. Whereas like Tupperware or cleaning cloths or things like that, you don't need on a regular basis. So then the culture of doTERRA, I've just been personally blown away by the generosity and like the integrity of people teaching about mentoring and just really making an impact. Like when you talk to people in doTERRA, there's no question. I've never met somebody that is like just strictly in it for the business. They are all like just have huge hearts, huge like mindsets of abundance, like just wanting to bless the people they come in contact with. It's really, really awesome. Obviously, you guys know about co-impact sourcing and even like the Healing Hands Foundation. We can't go into that tonight, but it really is an amazing foundation that's making impact like all over the world, because doTERRA has chosen to be generous and teach their advocates that as well. I think we'll talk about this later, but they're also a debt-free company, which is also a really, really big deal for the stability of the company and their ability to be generous.
Okay, so we're not going to get into all the nitty-gritty details of the compensation plan with doTERRA. That would be a whole hour or more by itself. But we just wanted to touch on it briefly. Part of the genius of how they structured the compensation plan for people that are wanting to do the business through doTERRA is that there's actually 6, but there's 5 main ways to earn an income with doTERRA. And those are retail sales, meaning if you sell something at a retail price, you get 25% of that product paid back to you in commission. I'll just put a disclaimer in there right away. We don't really ever try to sell doTERRA at retail because it's just not in the best interest of the customer usually. And it's also not in the best interest of the business owner. It is an option, and there are some times when it works to use that, but
in general, it just doesn't feel good to like have somebody that's your friend and have them pay a higher price than what you're paying when they could enroll and get the same discount as you.
Yeah. So then the other 4 ways. The second way is there's a bonus for every time you enroll and educate someone. They pay a bonus, and that's a weekly bonus. It's called the Fast Start bonus. And then doTERRA pays a bonus for structuring your organization optimally, and that is called the Power of 3 bonus. It's a structural bonus.
So just a quick state, the Fast Start bonus is really at the beginning of your business. That's going to be like the primary way that you make money. Like when you enroll somebody, that first 60 days, you get paid 20%, and that's going to be like what your business is like primarily made up of. But even for us now, like those checks are like, I mean, not much compared to other bonuses that we're getting. Yeah, Tyler says they pay for the babysitter, which is important.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'll let him keep going.
And then there's the residual income part is based on follow-up orders of people that are in your organization. doTERRA calls that the unilevel commission part. And then the last one is, I'm going to talk about that more. And then the last one is a company-wide profit sharing for the leadership ranks. Every month, doTERRA pays a percentage of their total profits out to the people that are in leadership positions in the organization. So what I think Kristen was going to talk about is one of the cool things about these different bonuses and these different ways to earn income, first of all, is you can earn money right away, but also there's not really a limit. So they're kind of opening up the doors at people for both ends to make money right away and to make a lot of money if you want to in the long term. But just, I mean, you could look at this and say it's really complicated. Why does it have to be 5 ways? But the reason that doTERRA does it this way is because they always are looking at how do we incentivize our wellness advocates in a way that best serves the users of our oils, which sounds really silly. I promise I'm not making it up. But the reason that doTERRA pays a Fast Start bonus is because they know that within a new enrollee's first 60 days, that's when they're going to be asking the most questions. They're going to be wanting to learn the most, and they're going to be taking a lot of the wellness advocate's time. So they want to make sure that they're compensating the wellness advocate for their time educating people. The structure bonus is, again, so that customers have multiple levels of support that they can go up, that they can reach out to, have their questions answered, and just be empowered and supported in their use of oils and in their use of the products. The residual income, this is one thing when I looked at the doTERRA compensation plan that I noticed was different from what I've seen in the past right away. This might be getting too complicated for this call, but basically doTERRA structures their unilevel commission in a way that business owners, wellness advocates in doTERRA are encouraged. They're actually incentivized to help each other grow, to help each other grow in their business, to help each other grow professionally.
In other companies, you're more so, because of the way the compensation plan is structured, you're more in competition against each other, which I love that part of it. The thing that I was actually going to talk about with residual income, when he's talking about like the unilevel commission at the beginning, this is like piddly amounts of money, or it seems. But even when you look at our upline, Callie Kenny, she's a diamond in doTERRA, that's the biggest check that she gets each month. And even for us, that is like a large majority of what we're getting paid right now, which is awesome. And I love it because really it's teaching you it's incentivizing you to educate your people for the long term. Because when I first started doing the business, I honestly, disclaimer, I wasn't even doing membership overviews with people. Like, they would buy oils at my class, they'd buy a kit, and I never met with them. Like, I didn't even have a plan for how I was going to follow up with them and teach them from that point on. I didn't have a Facebook page. I didn't have any of this stuff to help them. They could go onto Callie's Facebook page, but that was about it. And so it was just, I had a lot going on in my life at that time and didn't understand doTERRA's business and didn't understand that it was something I should do. But anyways, now I've seen that like that's one of the best things I can do long-term for my business, because I don't want people buying oils from me and then they just sit there because they're overwhelmed and they don't know how to use them. So also with the leadership performance pools, they just added another performance pool bonus, which is for premiers, which is a lower rank than what they've ever went before, which is amazing. Like, they have those leadership pool bonuses very quickly on in doTERRA, which is really exciting.
So this slide, we're not going to spend a ton of time on. Anyone can Google this information and find what the average annual and monthly earnings are for the different ranks in doTERRA. This information is maybe a little bit harder to find. The average time in months that it takes to hit these different ranks. And obviously this fluctuates a lot based on individuals, based on the amount of time someone is willing or able to put into their business, and just a lot of different factors. But these are all averages. Is there anything else you want to talk about here?
Yeah, no, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll keep going. We can, if you're wanting to like see these slides more in depth too, I think it might be cutting off the average time to rank. You can just message us or whatever and we'll get them out to you.
So we wanted to just, do you want to do this one? Or do you want me to?
I'll have you do it.
Okay.
One of Tyler's gifts is futuristic. He's very good at like basically just dreaming about the future. This is not one of my gifts, so he can go ahead and help you guys all dream.
Yeah. Elliot just started crying, so Kristen's gonna go check on him. So let's just imagine for a little bit. The rank of Premier, the average annual earnings is $8,900. It's $700 a month. So in your mind, answer this question, what would an extra $700 per month cover in your budget? Would it cover your rent? Would it cover car payments, student loans, daycare, utility bills? What would that cover? Because that's a big deal for a lot of people. $700 a month. And then in your mind, what would you do with an extra $700 per month right now. I think it's just powerful to think about it, because in reality, it's not unattainable, especially when you look at how doTERRA structures their compensation plan and all the things that we've already talked about. So $700 a month. Now, this is like presidential diamond, right? The top of that chart that we just looked at. Just allow yourself to think about this for a couple minutes. And if it's uncomfortable to think about, that's probably a good thing. It was for me, and it was for definitely for Kristen. She couldn't wrap her mind around these numbers. And we actually have to put in net earnings on here, because almost half, when you're making this amount of money, goes to the government. So that's the downside. But so on average, after taxes, the rank of Presidential Diamond has $66,000 a month, which is crazy, but it's true. We actually know some of these people. So stretch your mind a little bit here. What would an extra, keyword extra, what would an extra $30,000 to $60,000 per month mean for you and your family? I hope it would allow you to pay off your debt quickly. Would it allow you to pay off your family's debt? Potentially pay cash for a house, travel around the world, retire your spouse, maybe start a nonprofit to address an issue that you're passionate about, to make our world a better place. Would you just give it away to organizations you already know? Would you give it to people that you know need it? Would you just anonymously give gifts? What would you do with $60,000 a month? And then this slide, Kristen made fun of me for, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Just some fun and inspiring ideas to get your minds working if this is a little bit of a challenging exercise. $60,000 a month would allow you to sponsor 1,500 children through World Vision or Compassion International. If you're familiar with either of those organizations, they're great organizations that help provide education and clothing and food and things for kids that don't have access to those things. You could pay for, I know we have friends and we have family that have gone through the adoption process, and it's really expensive. But how cool would it be to anonymously pay for a family, like every month, pay for a family's adoption? Like, that would be awesome. Or buy a family vacation home, share it freely with friends and family, allow different organizations or missionaries to use it. Or would you travel? Would you check off all those countries off your list? These are some fun things that you could do. See, I told you she made fun of me for this slide.
He's a dreamer.
So just allow yourself to think on that a little bit and just dream about what's possible. This is you. Pretending.
So then we wanted to talk about a little bit of like practicals, like what it actually looks like. We'll go through some of the questions at the end. But basically, like, what I'd encourage you to do is, if you're thinking about the business at all, if you've like landed on, you feel like this is something you want to try, just commit to 2 years. It doesn't have to be 2 years. That's just ideal. And in like the actual practical sense of it, like really, basically, if you're committing to 2 years, the worst thing that you could lose is $3,600, and it's $3,600 of great products that you're probably going to be using anyways. All of the people on the call, I know that you all are using doTERRA products and love them. And really, yeah, doing the business, if you didn't know already, you're required to order 100 PV a month. So saying $150 per month is a little bit of,
It's like a max.
yeah, a max. But that just gives you a little bit of an idea. So yeah, basically from our experience, you can start making a profit within a matter of months. For some people, it's less than that. It just really depends on what you put into it. So here are just a few pictures that I wanted to show that just show you more of like what it has actually looked like for me. And I'll just say, like, first off, of course, these pictures are beautiful. I love pictures. They're not like amazing. I'm not a photographer or anything like that, but they make it look like really easy. And I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to say it's easy. Like, we have put a lot of work and energy into this business, but it's like the easiest work I've ever done. I love it, and I get to express it in a way that is true to me and authentic to me, and it's easy. Like, I'm inspired every day with different things that I get to do in my business. So you'll see that. And what you're going to do is going to be different, but you get to be authentically you. And so anyways, like over on the left-hand side, you can just see some of the real life stuff. That picture of Elliot, he actually slept in our bed that night for the first time in many, many moons.
That was like 4 nights ago.
And I didn't sleep at all. And woke up in the morning, and I like barely did anything for my business the next day. I was just like exhausted, and he wasn't feeling good. He literally like slept on me for all of his naps. He was fevering, and we were letting it burn out and using our oils, of course, but yeah. But anyways, yeah, that, like, because I have my own business that incorporates residual income, I'm literally getting paid while I'm taking care of my baby. And that picture you see down on the bottom was us for our 5-year anniversary. We went to Hawaii, and it was amazing. It was so good. And I remember when we were there, it was like the first time that it had hit me that, wow, like, I'm literally here in Hawaii, and I have people that are teaching classes and sharing oils, and we're getting paid from it. And this had happened for us too when Elliot was born. It was just more of a minor amount that we were getting paid over my maternity leave. But again, that was just when, for the first time, residual income started hitting me of like, wow, this is really possible. I work really hard when I work, but I can also take rest when I want it, and I'm still getting paid. I don't have to take vacation. And in my case, when I went down to part-time at my previous job, I didn't get paid for vacation. I literally had to make up my time even. So then you can see the picture at the top is me and Melissa Christopher. I used to work with her at my previous job, and she's one of my closest friends. And we were in Florida together on a work trip, and it was super fun. We got to meet with our previous boss while we were there and talk with him about health and what we're doing now. And it was just great. So I love that because, again, I get to work with my friends. The picture in the middle is my roommate and I when we were in Cancun, which was the incentive trip for this year, or last year for doTERRA. Basically, I earned that trip. My 4-night stay there was free at an all-inclusive resort. It was like ridiculously amazing. And at the level that I earned it, we had to pay for my flights, which was about $300, but that's it. I got the rest of it for free. The middle picture, or the bottom picture where it says trust on my screen, is when I was working at the library. For me, I choose to have a nanny 2 afternoons a week, because that helps me to just have some time to focus on my business where I'm not I just was feeling a stress where we're trying to grow our business fast, and I would get frustrated with Elliot because he required my attention, and I was trying to do 2 things at once. So for me, I needed space to be able to just do concentrated work besides nap times. And so for me, that's what it looks like, is going to the library sometimes and doing some work on my computer. The middle quote is just the reality that sometimes stress comes in life, and I love dark chocolate, and I just think that's really funny. You can see in the middle, this is actually June of 2016, but you can see the number of classes that I have. That's pretty normal for me. I have at least 1 class a week, Last week I had 3. So I'm regularly teaching classes. And again, that's been what is right for me because we want to grow fast. You can see the picture of, this is just from a week or a week and a half ago, with one of my leaders. She owns a yoga studio here in Waco, and we sampled every single person that came to the silos with oils, and now are in the process of following up with those people, inviting them to things. So just really exciting. You can see me at a vendor fair with a close friend of mine. The bottom picture is Callie teaching an oils class in South Dakota. We literally did a foot spa with like 50 people. And then there's another oils class up on the top, and you can't see the picture, but there's a picture of just some snacks that we had at one of our classes. So that's just like some of the practicals of what it looks like. And again, like, it's not all fluffy and roses, but like really, like, it is the most fun, easiest thing that I've ever done. Not easiest, like it comes easy because it's fun. So we were planning on having Tyler cover this, but I will just go for it. This is our, like a spreadsheet that he made, that literally shows our rank advancement progression and our, what we've gotten paid in doTERRA. So we're just being super transparent here. And again, like, everybody's advancement in the business looks different. But for me, like I said early on, like, I had a lot of limiting beliefs holding me back, like, meaning the very beginning, like that 44-20 or whatever, that was when Melissa enrolled, and Callie just basically told me that I needed to enroll her. She like basically refused to enroll Melissa because I was still not doing the business at this point. And I don't even know when I would say that I really full out started it. Callie visited in July of 2015. And after that point, you can see that our team grew a ton, from 44 people to 66, then 76, then 83. Elliot was born in September of 2015. So you see what I got paid as an elite over my maternity leave. And then last year in 2016, in April, I decided that I was going to leave my part-time job at Inspired. And we hit silver in June. But it says silver there because doTERRA still acknowledges you as a silver. But basically July, August, September, October, we were technically hitting premier. And then in November, we hit silver again. And now we've been gold this year. And we've literally made more money this year than we did all of last year. But that's really just, I mean, a lot of people will use the analogy that at the beginning, you feel like you're pushing this huge snowball up a hill. And then it gets to this point, and then it just starts rolling it. And you're not having to push it with the same amount of effort. So at the beginning, it really does feel like more hard work than it actually is. But then as you go, you'll have people that join you along the way, and it just becomes easier and easier and grows faster as well. So then this is an example of somebody that grew quicker than me. This is Callie, who enrolled me. She grew to a diamond within the matter of a year, and she pretty consistently makes between $15,000 and $17,000 a month right now in doTERRA, which I can't even fathom. It's just crazy. But this shows her progression. And again, from my experience, she just didn't have a lot of the limiting beliefs holding her back like I did. And she took more time to process them if she did, instead of just avoiding them like I did. So I think this, it's amazing, but again, like, your journey is going to be your journey, and every single journey in doTERRA I really think is beautiful, no matter how fast you grow. And maybe your goal is never to be diamonds. Who cares? Maybe you want to just pay for your oils, and that in itself is an awesome gift for your family. So this just shows you an example of what it can look like if you really want to go after it. I think that every rank really requires like personal breakthrough for that person. And that has for sure been true for me. Like, even at gold right now, I'm having to learn a lot more about leadership than I ever would have before. Like, I would not have pictured myself teaching a class about the business. Like, I'm telling you guys, I'm not a business focused person. Like, I just love oils and natural health. But at each level, I have to grow. in my ability to be able to communicate and lead and motivate people and inspire them and all those sorts of things. So this just breaks it down to some of the very, very practicals, and you'll see, we'll talk about this at the very end, but we have a private Facebook group that is just for educators on our team, people that have chosen to do that. And in the coming weeks, we're going to be doing a weekly Facebook Live for about 10 minutes on these basic skills. So really what you're doing on a daily basis is you're educating someone, like sharing samples with them, teaching them, you're enrolling with them, then you're following up with them and teaching them more, and then you're repeating yourself over and over and over. And then your goal is duplication. You're teaching somebody else to do what you're doing. I love the quote in the corner. If you don't, I can't even read it actually. One second. If you don't build your own dream, someone else will hire you to help build theirs. And honestly, like, there's nothing wrong with this. Like, there is like so much beauty in the traditional business model and like empowering and serving somebody else to live out their dream. I was honored to do that at Inspired Chiropractic when I worked there. But if like you have your own big dream, like, just like, don't be afraid to just go after it. It's so worth it. So then we briefly wanted to cover this is like I said at the beginning, there's a lot of people that will say something along the lines of like, everybody's using oils, blah, 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 blah. And that's just not true. I've felt that before. So again, being real. But the reality is 66% of the US population has never used essential oils. That's 200 plus million people, and half of those people express that they want to try essential oils. That's over 100 million people want to try essential oils that haven't. So 100 million people would basically take doTERRA times 50. And that's just in the US, and doTERRA is growing internationally already in lots and lots of different countries. So that's like a whole different opportunity. We have one person on our team from Australia, and there's people lots of doTERRA people are traveling all around the world to share doTERRA. So the last thing that we wanted to end with, sorry, I think we've went a little long, but next Wednesday night on April 5th at 8:30, we want to do a Q&A, just because we know you guys probably have a lot of questions. That's great. You probably have similar questions to what other people have. And so Tyler will specifically be on that because he works during the day, so he can't just be available whenever. And then I also would encourage you to reach out to whoever enrolled you or invited you to this webinar. If it was me, I've blocked off like certain times that I want to be able to have calls with you and like talk about where you're at, and whatever you decide or whatever it looks like for you right now, that's great. That's beautiful. That's your journey. And then basically just let them know your intentions. If you are enrolled right now, you want to know if you're enrolled as a wholesale customer or a wellness advocate. I am a wellness advocate, which means that I am able to earn commission with doTERRA. So if you're a wholesale customer, you can upgrade your membership. It's really easy, no fees or anything like that. But just talk to whoever you enrolled with before doing that, just because of some strategy that's involved. And then if you're not already added to the Living Drop Collective groups, either our LDC page, that is specifically for people that are using essential oils, so it's all education there, and you're not a part of that, make sure you are asked to be added to that. And then if you're doing it as you want to do this as a business, you can definitely ask as well to be added to the educators page. And yeah, we'll keep you posted. Probably if you're planning to do it as a business, we'll keep you posted on a lot of upcoming trainings and things like that through those mediums primarily. So I'm going to quick open up the chat because I'm sure there were some questions that we'll briefly discuss. But again, we went kind of long, so sorry about that. Is there only one comment? I think maybe there's just one comment. Okay, thanks, Londa. If you guys have any questions, you're welcome to jump on. Otherwise, sorry again that we went late. Hopefully this helped answer some questions. We have thought about in next week's Q&A going a little bit more deep into the compensation plan, but really you could do that on doTERRA's website. So if you want to go ahead and check that out and then ask questions at our Q&A call, that would be awesome too. But if any of you have questions right away, we can go through them.
Any questions are great. We've probably asked them ourselves at some point.
Yeah. If you're saying something out loud to us, it's muted, but maybe nobody has questions. Okay, sweet. Well, thanks for joining, guys. I hope this gave you some good meat to be able to chew on and process for your own life and what it could look like. And yeah, we look forward to continuing to support you in whatever means that looks like. So have a great night.